many of us, it is hard finding a good man, no matter what your race, no matter what your background. But where are all the good black men? That's the question we're asking today.
I don't date very often.
I have not been serious with anybody since about 1992.
Hearing the statistics that there are very few black men for women, I find it difficult at times to have a relationship with a black man. They are a commodity, and they know that they're a commodity. That causes problems for black women and black men to have decent, solid relationships.
In the neighborhood where I reside, there are a lot of black women raising children by themselves. There's probably economic reasons. I mean, if you look at statistics of the black males in jail, I mean, when they come out, who's going to hire them? It seems like when they enter the world, it's like already a strike right there, and the rest of their life is just a struggle.
Now, black men are more willing to date outside of the race. For what reason, I do not know. There are so many beautiful, black, educated women out here. What's bringing us apart? I don't know.
A lot of folks don't know. It's not only black women who are concerned about finding the right one. I mean, I gotta admit, being well into the third decade of my life, no man, no kids, barely a phone call sometimes. I'm beginning to, broaden my approach a little bit to this man thing, I was talking to a girlfriend the other night and I said, honey, if there's not enough inventory in the boutique, then maybe we should be going department store shopping. Well, I'm not the only one having a tough time. There's Carolyn Sawyer here. She's 32 years old. She's a television reporter in Boston. And you say that you haven't had a real date in a year?
A real date in a year. Yeah, that's.
So you got a comment. Look at some people out there with, oh gosh. But really, you haven't. You're not dating. What do you find?
When I define real date, I define it as meeting someone who excites me, who I'm really interested in spending time with. Now, that's not to say that I haven't encountered people who would say, "Would you like to go out? Let's do this." But I didn't feel that there was the spark, and so I didn't go there. I confess, I'm guilty. I'm looking for my father, who's a wonderful black man, who's hardworking, who loves his family. My parents have been married nearly 40 years. So I've got great examples of wonderful relationships. And I look at that and I kind of look around and say, well, where are those brothers? Yeah. We're not talking rocket scientists here. We're just talking about men who are comfortable enough, confident enough to come up and say, look, I think you got a lot going on. Mm-hmm. How about spending some time?
Do you find, because I have people who say this, you're on TV, you have a job, you got it kind of going on there. You must have dates every single night. And they say no, and then your friends say, you must be intimidating them. Do you get that?
But what am I to do? Because in my mind, the person that I'm dreaming of is the person who's comfortable enough to say, Rolonda, yeah, you're on your show, you've got your own show, you got a lot going on, but you know what? Together, I think we can be magic.
I love you for saying that. Where are they? Where are they?
It's true. Yeah. I mean, is that too much to ask? I mean, because people always want to pin it on you're being too choicy, you're being too choicy. And I like to say, look, I come from very basic means. Military child. My father spent 25 years in the service. But what he taught me was a lot of self-respect about myself and how to conduct myself as a lady and to have certain levels of standards. And an example of how a man gets up every day and goes out and takes care of his family and people know who the baby daddy is. I mean,
right.
Good examples.
Well, I do too. I mean, my dad is a gem. I mean, he really is. And not that we want to run out and marry our dads every place.
No.
But we do come from families where we see a father at the head of the household doing the right thing by his women, his children, and the whole bit. What kind of guys are you running into that you think there's too many of out there?
I think the woman who you had in the clip a few minutes ago who acknowledged the fact that black men are aware of statistics. We hear the statistics all the time, and we know the numbers are real, and there's some truth to the numbers. It was interesting, and I bring my father back up in this to say that he told me not too long ago, part of your problem, child, is you ain't asked for the man, and that could be some of it. I mean, I've been tied up in building the career and so forth and so on. But I think that they know the statistics, and in some instances, they know that the pool is small, and particularly when you start getting to the level where you're getting specific in terms of education and what you're doing, the pool gets smaller. Let's face it, more black women are in college than black men. And that's not to say that the brother has to come with an education from college, but I think those who are there know that, and they know that the pool is smaller, and that makes it for a competitive atmosphere, and I'm not sure that dating should be competitive.
Does it ever get to a point where you date outside the race?
I've done that before. I think that you should be with the person who excites you. And I don't think I hear the out there.
Yeah, you get a lot of, you know.
But you know, look at the brother
And look at
nodding
the
up there.
brothers back there
Well,
going,
wait a minute. This is the same brother that, you know, I bet you just $10. Let's go in $10. That if I walked up in the room, that, you know, the likelihood of him coming, is he moving his head? Likelihood of him coming up and saying, you know, gee, sharp sister, why don't we go have a drink? That's not going to happen. And so while you nod your head, I mean, don't knock me for having had an experience. And I don't think you can comment on an experience unless you've had it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you know.
It's true.
There are, you know, as my parents taught me, Rolonda, there are good white people, good black people, bad black people, and bad white people.
That's right.
And it really is about the person who makes you come alive.
Well, that's, you know, I tell you, I'd say this to my girlfriends all the time. You shop in the boutique and there's not enough inventory, you do find yourself going to the department store where there's a little bit more variety. Now, well, that's not for everybody, but it certainly is, it puts you in a position where you do consider it. There was a doctor in your life. Oh, Lord. Tell us about the doctor.
Oh, boy. I mean, it's not significant that he was a doctor. He just happened to have been a physician. And the significance is that the doctor, when I met him, had formerly been engaged, and so he was out of that relationship. The problems came when the nurse moved to the new community and followed him, in essence, from one practice to another practice out of state, which I thought was a great deal of effort on one's part. But I try to be open-minded, you know, because often you meet men who say, you don't give me my space, you don't let me do the things I need to do, and so I'm trying to be open-minded. Right. I think at the point where her weekend to house hunt became like a 5-day stay, and there was an invitation to join the two of them for dinner, I had to draw the line. You know, you got to stop at some point and say, look, this is a little too much.
So she was doing more than taking blood pressure.
That would be my guess. That would be a safe bet.
Yeah, but when you look at the statistics, folks, it is staggering. It is something to consider. I mean, you've got 65% of black women raising children alone in America. When we come back, we're going to talk to one of those women, a single mom, and she too says she's having a hard time finding a mate. Stick with us as we ask the question, where are all the good black men? Loaded question today, and that question is, where are all the good black men? Well, statistics say that there are more black men of all ages in jail than in college, and a little more than 12% are unemployed. Adrienne Burke is a college-educated computer literacy instructor. She has never been married, although she did have her first and only daughter when she was just 14 years old. That's awfully early. That's a baby having a baby.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't regret it, though. And I think it has a lot to do with why I am where I am as far as dating is concerned. You touched on something earlier as far as the intimidation factor. Statistically, I'm not even supposed to be where I am, having a child at 14. But since I am there, I find that a lot of brothers are intimidating. Just for the record, I'm for the brothers. I have faith in my brothers. No, I wasn't trying to take you there.
You have a whole group of men back here who appreciate that.
Just for the record.
Just for the record.
Just for the record. This has nothing to do with
Thank
her.
you.
I just wanted to put it out there right now. I love my brothers.
Oh,
I love
absolutely.
everybody, but just preferably,
So what I hear you saying is that even though it's difficult maybe to find a good black man, that
keep
you
the
don't
faith.
want to sway outside the race and date some other race.
No, I don't. And let me just explain something. It's not a racial thing. It's a preference thing for me. When I look at a brother, I like what I see. I like the color, I like the power, I like the strength, okay?
But it's a racial preference.
Okay, but no, I'm saying I like what I see. I'm attracted to the physical composition, I'm attracted to the power, the strength, the culture, the tradition. You understand what I'm saying? And I don't, let me just finish this point, and I don't think that anyone outside of my culture and my tradition can halfway relate to me being a single mother at 14 years old, struggling the way that I do, and appreciate me for who I really am, but a brother who goes through the same
So where
thing.
is he?
Yeah, but you know,
So wait,
exactly,
let me play devil's advocate.
But
Where is he?
But wait a
Where
minute.
is he? He's out there. I'm
I hear-
29 years old. I'll wait.
I hear everything you are saying. Don't get me wrong. And please don't suggest that I'm here suggesting. I have the one friend a colleague who has married outside of the race and jokingly said to us, look, I done gone to the other side and it's okay, y'all can come. And I said to her, look, I don't need you to recruit.
I have tested the water.
It's okay.
Right.
I just think, I mean, the world is a global world, and I simply have too many contacts and relationships with all kinds of people to live my life in a box. And I think that if I went through life like that, I'd be wearing blinders and possibly miss some beautiful experiences. I don't know if he's white, if he's Moroccan. I don't know what he is.
I can respect that. I can respect that.
I agree with what you're saying and all, but you know, due to your education, it brought you to a different level. It's like an adult trying to talk to a child, and I know a lot of brothers, you know, are struggling, you know, due to statistics and what have you. But you know, you're on a different level, and like a lot of brothers maybe around you are not on that same level, so you find yourself hard to talk to them.
So what is your suggestion to me?
Well, my suggestion is you find a brother. You find a brother. No, listen.
Yeah, this is gonna be good, brother.
Intense, but what's the solution?
It's just like you have a child that's 5 years old. You find somebody that's a peer to like the child that you know you can relate with. They have a lot of educated brothers in school out there and in good positions. You just can't say that, you know, no brothers ain't no good.
Well, you know, I have a saying, and I'll just share it with you very quickly, and that is I've attempted the relating part, and I'm not saying that I'll never go back there again. And I like to tell people, look, I've done white collar, blue collar, no collar. I've been there. I'm looking for, at this stage in my life, someone who is mature enough to come and relate to me. I'm tired. Come and tell me what's going on. That's all.
You may want to read Dr. Ron Elmore's book. This is Dr. Ron Elmore. He's the author of a book entitled How to Love a Black Man. Come on, stand up. Oh, this better be good, Ron. Ron, I mean, we're sitting up here, and clearly there's enough sentiment out there in America that there is a shortage. Are we realistic here?
There's a shortage. But there's a shortage of hope diamonds in the world, too. There's a shortage of precious ores and gems in the world, too. And so the search is harder, but any valuable thing is harder. We don't go to Woolworth's when you're looking for a hope diamond. You got to go uptown to Tiffany's. But it's a hard trek there. And so I understand the struggles. I say to women who write me, who've read How to Love a Black Man, I say I apologize for every misspoken word from a black man to you, every tear that you may have shed that had one of our names on it. But at the same time, don't give up. There's a bunch of us who are in prison. There's a bunch of us who are already married. There's a bunch of us who are otherwise engaged for whatever the reason. But you're looking for one. That's right. And I want you to have that one, big time.
I'm going to have it.
It might require, as my father said, just asking for it.
Yeah. Asking and working. I heard you mention something about the waiting idea, and waiting is a wonderful thing to do. Patience is a big part of this process, but it needs to be a working wait. It needs to be the kind of wait where I want to see the time the lights go down, I want to see you, Carolyn, back there checking out this whole row and being
I got a card coming this way because I want to connect with the one brother so we can talk about some open exchange of ideas, if nothing else.
Yeah. But it's going to take that kind of meeting in the middle. And what I'm hearing from my brother in the back, this characterization of very successful black women who are now attempting relationships with men who have not been as educated. I don't see it as a parent-child type thing. I see it as we have, even if there are two different languages, I believe what love is really about is making the commitment to bridge the gap. Right. It's okay. Talk your way, brother.
That's right. Question up here. Question.
I'd just like to pose a question to you. Say if a brother approached you, maybe a blue-collar worker or somebody who might work in the mailroom, approach you and try to get to know you. Would you reciprocate that same kind of friendship for that person just
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think one of my endearing qualities is I get along with all kinds of people. I consider my pool of friends folk who in the mail room up to the boardroom. I think that's an endearing quality of mine that I think I learned from my family, that you respect all people.
A brother would approach a sister like you and feel intimidated by your education and your prestige.
Why are you intimidated, though? I'm one of the nicest, down-to-earth sisters you're going to meet.
Because he feels like he might not be on the same level as you.
What level is that?
A person who's in the world, in the business world, just because he doesn't feel the same way as you.
Now that lady down there said, then that's the man's problem.
You know what? I think that basically what you should do is, instead of assuming something, like she said in the back, you want to know? Ask her out. Let's go have a drink. Let's talk about it.
You're right.
See where we go from there.
You intimidated after that drink, I can't help you.
Because I can talk the talk and I can walk the walk. Okay?
You're right, and you're true, and no man should be intimidated by no woman, and vice versa. I feel that a man, as a young black man, being single, being educated, having a job, and I return home, I live in the South Bronx, I find that I'm attracted to a lot more women who are less educated and who may not have a job and who may have been in relationships previous that no one was there to tell them, don't go out there and sleep with this man at 14 and 15 and then you have a baby, because your struggle will be twice as hard. You understand? Because I'm smart enough to know your struggle was hard.
My struggle was hard.
Yes.
However, it's made me a wonderful person.
Oh, yes it has, no doubt.
I have a lot to bring to the table.
No doubt, you are a lot
that.
stronger now. Having been through what you've been through, you're a lot stronger. You're one woman that all men, all women should listen to. For you have went against the odds and come.
You have gone against the odds.
Thank you.
Did you say you might be your man?
Thank you for that correction.
I think that's your man.
But I love you anyway. Listen, we've got to take a quick break. When we come back, let's discuss the issue of why most black women will not date white men or men outside their race. Why is that? We'll talk about it right after this.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Talking here about where are all the good black men, and I got in a little trouble here talking to Rodney. When I corrected your English, I said you should have went, and I said it should have gone. The lady over here said, "See, there you go, intimidating men again." You know, did I intimidate? Is that wrong to do?
No, you corrected me, which is correct. There was no intimidation there. I accepted that, and I reciprocated. That was that. I moved on. I still didn't get my point across that. Being young and being out there's a lot more women than there is us. Now, for the few black men who do achieve status, and then we go back and try to be with our sisters, sometimes we can't be with them because they have children already, or they're with a boyfriend, or for whatever reason.
I'm sorry. What's the problem with having a child? This is the second time you raised that issue.
Right, because
Make me
unfortunately,
understand,
right? Listen,
I want to be here.
When there's
Stand up.
when there's a child involved, okay, and I've been in a relationship with a young lady who had 2 children from 2 different men. I had nothing against it. I went in there and took on the responsibilities. She ended that relationship because she felt that she couldn't have me and still deal with the fathers. I had nothing against the fathers. You can see your child, that's your child. But she broke it up because she still had to deal with the fathers.
Oh, okay, so that's your issue when it comes to dating women with children.
Because me and the children had a relationship, but when we broke up, I was out in the cold.
Well, I want you, this is your daughter here,
That's
right?
my pumpkin right
Come
there.
on, pumpkin. Come on, pumpkin. Introduce yourself and your pretty self. Say your name. Latoya Burke. Latoya, you are how old, 15? Yes. You're 15 years old. You're starting to become a woman. You're listening to all of this. There's a whole hour dedicated to this. What does this do to you as you start thinking about growing up and finding a little boyfriend and doing all those things, and as you listen to Mom and the rest of the men talking here?
I just try to look for the right man, I guess. When I start looking.
That's right. Mama said when she starts looking. Thank you, baby
she
doll.
starts looking.
Well, what do you teach your daughters? I mean, what do we teach our children as women feeling the frustration of not being able to find the right mate? What do you tell the children who are watching this in the house the whole time?
Basically, what I try to tell her is to just be patient. You know, my daughter's a part of my life, come see, come sa, relationships, corporate, whatever. She's a part of my life. So she sees what I go through, just like my previous relationship. Any relationship that I'm involved in, she has say in. If it's not working out for her, it's not going to work out for me, okay? My daughter comes first, all right? The last relationship that I was in primarily ended because those two just couldn't click. She had a problem with him. He had a problem with me having a problem with her having a problem with him.
Oh, gosh.
Okay, but basically, you know, I just tell her to be patient. And it's really funny because my daughter is at the age now, she's 15, she's starting to see boys and everything. She doesn't mind the interracial thing. And I'm the total opposite of that. But I don't impose that on her. This is my preference. This is my belief.
What do you say?
I'm 25 years old, and I've dated outside of the race. And I think there's even a problem there. I don't think too many men other than black men, I think men other than black men are intimidated by black women as well. So I think in general as a problem, black women have a problem dating. So, you know, what do we do about that?
That's why we're here, I thought.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to figure out. I want you to meet 37-year-old Jeanette Bonner. She's a vice president of fundraising at United Way. Jeanette is, well, what you might call a department store shopper. She dates men outside her race, but she also complains that even though whoever she's dating, it's still hard to find a commitment. Is that right?
That's quite true.
Yeah.
Very much so.
So at what point did you say, okay, enough already. I got to go out and expand my horizons a bit. What made you decide to do that?
Well, basically, my mindset is a nice man would be nice in my life. There's a void right now, quite frankly. My preference is definitely the brothers. But if a nice man happens to appreciate me that isn't black, I'm not going to discourage that
Let me ask just a general question here. Are there some people who are saying, I don't get it? Because we have an interracial group here. Is there any questions that you may have that you just don't get it, what we're talking about here? Okay, everybody gets it.
But you know what, Rolonda, let me make this suggestion to you, too, and that is that I have seen, even in our profession, my counterparts, my white counterparts, who have the same issue. I mean, they're having difficulty finding neat guys to date.
Carol, I was talking to a lady back here. That's what I was trying to get you to say. Go on.
Well, I think it's not the color, the race issue. I just think that the intimidation factor that he's talking about and that you're talking about is money. And it's always an issue. If your mate makes more, I would be intimidated if my wife made more than me.
Why?
But is
that
the same
account?
That's not my
same
fault.
I'm not saying that I have a reason
I try
why.
and make it
I'm
as
just
weak
saying
as
that it's an
possible.
issue. But I'm also saying that I don't think that white men really want to date black women as much as black women want to date white men either. And I love my white wife right here.
Your white wife.
I don't think a lot of this has to do with race. I think it's just who you are. I think a lot of people my age, my color, my religion have a lot of difficulty finding people in the right area that they want them to be at the time. And I think when you asked if we can relate, yeah, I can relate. I think everyone can relate. If you've ever had a problem, if you've ever tried to find someone, I mean, who has it that easy, right?
That's right. Exactly.
That's
Thank
right.
You.
Whoops, come on, stand up.
You said before that you had trouble finding black men working in the TV industry. Where do you go to find these black men?
That's a good point. I don't go to find men.
Because you said you wait for them to come to you. Dating's got to be like an active process.
I am not, waiting in the sense that you described. I mean, I'm certainly a very socially active person, but on the other hand, I don't go to bars looking for men. I don't go out with a specific mission of let's get a man, let's get a man. You know, some of the girls get dressed on Friday night and they got to get their clothes together, and I'm trying to. No, I don't do that. I'm past that stage in life, and so I mean, I'm certainly in the position that I am as a journalist. I'm constantly meeting people, and you would think in those encounters. I mean, look, I'm in the airport sometimes walking down looking at the red coat man. Some of them look good.
I got to take a quick break real quick, and we'll come back and continue this. There are many who believe that even when black men and black women finally do get together, there are still some rather unique problems. We're going to talk about that and continue our discussion right after this. Today, relationships between black men and black women. Dr. Arlene Bronscroft and Margaret Porter just published this study, and the study is called, Does the Future of Black College-Educated Women Include Black Men? I want to, come on, stand up, you guys. I want to introduce you. Welcome. That's quite a study. What made you guys decide to do the study? I guess it's what we've been talking about here.
All right, let me start.
Go on.
First of all, I just wanted to really know about black, white, Hispanic women, what their aspirations were. And so I had done a study originally on the aspirations of young college women. And what I found that was startling, that the black women, much more so than the Hispanic and the white women, did not see black men in their futures. That's what the finding was. And these were young college black women. So I found originally that they, more than the Hispanic and white women. And then Margaret and I teamed up to try to explore this further.
Absolutely. Where did you do your study? The man just asked here.
Urban universities in New York.
In urban universities in New York. In New York.
Basically, what prompted me to do it was because at the time I was single, and I'm still single, and I wanted to find out exactly what was happening, how willing black women were actually to go out there and date men of other ethnic, racial backgrounds. You know, our findings basically show that these women, they are willing to go out, but their preference is still the black man, irregardless of his level of education.
That we want to concur. The young women said in very loud voices, we want to date black men. That was their strong, strong preference. There were about a third of them that said they would be willing to date outside their ethnic background. Actually, more of them said other than white.
In your study, what were some of the major frustrations that were voiced about why there was this conflict?
Favorite word, commitment.
And trust.
However, they found that black men were extremely supportive of their educational aspirations, of their needs. They enjoyed dating black men. They liked being with black men. But they said, as far as marriage partners, the commitment and the trust were not there.
Listen, let me tell you, how many times have you gotten on the telephone, thank you ladies, and talked to your girlfriend, your best friend, your guy friend about all the problems with commitment and trust, and you talk. My girlfriend up here is 41-year-old Marilyn Wilson. Marilyn and I grew up together, basically. And we're one of those girls who get on the phone and gab after we first meet somebody, gab after we break up, gab through everything. Marilyn has certainly had some luck in finding a man. She's actually been married twice to professional black men. Now, we can't even find one man. She's already found two. What do you find, and I'm going to just share some of the things that we talk about all the time, about some of the things that you go through when you're trying to find that perfect man.
Well, I think that we as black women, we all have certain expectations that we are, a certain man that we are looking for. And that was certainly my situation in both of my marriages. My first marriage, I was 29 years old, and many of my friends were already tying the knot, and I felt that biological clock that was ticking, and I only dated my first husband 8 months, which I don't think was long enough to really know him, and as a result, the marriage did not last long. We were not compatible at all. However, my second husband, we were very compatible. I thought we still remain very good friends. I just spoke to him last night, and
Did you tell him you were doing the show?
Yes, he knows.
I know he's shaking in his boots right now.
He knows I'm doing the show. I'm still very close with him and his family. I love his mother dearly.
Yeah.
But things just didn't work out. And you have tension in marriages. You have the economic tension. You have the tension of measuring up to someone's expectations. And so all of those things, and unfortunately it just did not work out. As I said, it's a blessing that we are still friends, and all's well that ends well.
You want to get married again?
No, I don't.
Yes,
I don't.
No, what I'm hearing from Marilyn is what I'm hearing from a lot of men and women. That's this idea that we're like on two separate sides of the room, and we're afraid now. Men are afraid they're going to be disrespected, and women are afraid they're going to be left.
That's right.
And because we're so afraid and sitting on those separate corners, we're analyzing all this drama, but we're not really acting because we're scared.
Well, wait a minute. We're going to find out how we can start acting a little bit. Also, how many women in the audience, let me hear a clap of hands, would like to get married? How many women want to get married? That's a lot. That's a lot. Well, coming up next, we're going to have some tips on how to beat the odds and make it to the altar with the man of your dreams. I want you to know I'm taking a few notes too, girls. And we can get some tips from you too, Ron. We'll be right back in a minute. talking about how hard it is for most black women to find a good black man. And I want to ask you guys something. When you just saw that montage of couples there, interracial couples, black men with white women, what were your reactions? Anybody have any gut reactions? Come on, straight from the gut here. Straight from the gut. Come on, stand up.
Purely financial.
Purely financial, you think? Who else? Back here. What do you say? What do you say? Come on, come on, come on, come on. I'm getting my exercise today. There you go.
That every time someone's in the spotlight, like a black man, you always see him with a white woman. That's the main thing. You don't see him with a black. It's like, and some of them make comments, no, I don't like black women. I prefer white women. And it doesn't make no sense. It really does. These are the so-called good black men.
Yeah, but yet
I don't think it matters whether you're white or black. I don't think it matters as long as you're in love.
Doesn't bother you. Doesn't bother you either?
Doesn't bother me at all. I'm going to date who I want to date, whether she's black, white, Spanish, Mexican.
What do you ladies
But
think?
you know what, I was just going to say, I don't have the what happens to be quite often the reaction most sisters have, and that is they're a little bit angry when they see black men who are successful with white women. I don't go there. I don't have that emotion. I'll tell you what emotion I do have, though. I'm just sitting here this evening, and I'm looking at this panel, and I'm thinking, here is a row, you included, of sharp sisters. Why are we spending some of the best years of our lives by ourselves?
All single.
By choice for me.
By choice.
By
What do you
choice for
say?
me.
I'll tell you, it's quite
assuming
frankly,
you
it's
met the right
easier to
person.
meet a white woman or sometimes Hispanic women because black women have so much attitude when you're out or you're walking.
Energy.
Now, wait a minute. What you mean by that? Oh, no.
I need some energy.
Look, a whole row. Whoa. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on.
We hear that all the time. Black women have too much attitude. That's just me. That's just how I am. I know plenty white girls with attitude, let me tell you. That has nothing to do with it. It's about a cultural expression. Just because I roll my head or roll my eyes, whatever, that's confidence. I have confidence in myself, and I'd like to be heard, and I'm going to let you know where I stand. That has nothing to do with it. So that's a cop-out, because if you're too intimidated by me doing this or doing whatever like that, then that's on you. You need to check yourself. Have the confidence enough to step to me regardless.
If you're a confident person, if you're a successful person, why should you have to go through all the hassle? You know, you could date other people. There's no need for that.
Wait a minute.
Okay, go through the hassle. It's not it should not be a hassle. I mean, we're here for one another, and quite frankly, I think that a lot of black men have bought into what the system tells us about black women. I think that a lot of black men hold us responsible for being what we've had to be throughout the years, with not having you there as father figures and having to be the mother and the father to our children. And a lot of the other issues that go along that make us the strong black women that we are. And you guys use that against us, and it's not fair.
And why should we apologize for being strong black women?
And energetic.
See, what the problem is, my brother, you just can't handle it. That's it. You can't handle it.
I wanted to say something to the young man that stood up and made a comment right here behind him. Yes. That made a comment that was really, really key. In interracial dating, you will see a black man with a white woman. However, what did you say? You very rarely see a white man wanting to date a black woman. What's wrong with this picture?
But she gets dates.
I'm from the
She gets dates.
You
Jeanette
said
gets dates.
No, I'm saying.
Jeanette's got dates.
How many white men in here would want to date a sister? How many white men in here could deal with that attitude that this brother was talking about? This energy, this power, however you want to call it.
She disagrees.
I disagree because I'm a multi-dimensional person, and I've dated outside of my race, and it's been, I'd say, a good 6-7 years since I've dated a brother, and I've been dating outside my race, and they've been dating me.
Is that because it's hard for you to find someone, or is what? Why?
It's just compatibility.
Have you had long-term relationships with these men? Or were you something to be desired, something to say,
No, I broke it off with them.
maybe I should try this?
No, I broke it off with them.
You know, because a lot of times, in my experience now, you know.
But you said you didn't date
In
anyway.
my experience, I did tell, what's her name in the back? Patricia in the back, that when I was about 17, 18 years old, I did date a white boy, okay?
I hate to say that. I'm sorry I said that. But anyway, we're being frank, okay? I did date a white boy, man, guy. But, and through that experience, no, seriously, through that experience was not a pleasurable experience to me, and that wasn't what tainted me. It was just, you know, that attitude, that sapphireness, that energy. My tradition, my culture. I'm conditioned to know more about their culture than they are conditioned to know about my culture. Take the time to get to know me and my culture and my traditions. Do they want to do that? I don't think so.
Well, up next, while this comedian was busy trying to make all of us laugh, she was also trying to find a good man. You're looking at Phyllis Yvonne Stickney back there, and we're going to meet her next and get her side of the story when we come back. Guess what? Believe it or not all black women are looking to find a good man. Quite a few have great husbands. Phyllis Yvonne Stickney is one of them. She's a comedian and an actress, and if you haven't seen her comedy routine, you may remember her from a number of movies, including Malcolm X, Jungle Fever. She played a welfare mom in the TV movie The Women of Brewster Place, and maybe she'll be playing a mommy too in real life soon, because she just got married. Come on out here, girl. Looking like an African queen. How you doing, darling? Come here. You got the orange memo today, right?
Yes, you know, we had to do this thing. It was necessary.
It was necessary.
Hey.
Hey. How did you get married? Did you ever go through all these frustrations you've been...
Of course I did. I went through everything, and then some, multiplied, squared. Oh, please. Please, I have horror stories.
What do you think about what we're saying? As we say, where are all the good black men? What do you say?
I say that they're out there. You just have to look in places that maybe are not traditionally places that you would look. You have to open yourself up to places and people and things that may be new and different and frightening to you. And you have to sometimes, I don't want to say higher or lower, but we need to expand, you know, where we're looking, because, so what? I mean, he may not have graduated. He may have gone and get that GED. So what? You know, maybe we need to be broader, I think. You have to begin to say, well, is he a spiritual person? You know, does he have knowledge of himself? Mm-hmm. Is he a complete person who's coming to me whole and not looking for me to complete him? Mm-hmm.
How did you meet your husband, Phyllis?
Oh, it's like, don't make me, I'm going to be serious and blush and all that, but actually, we had seen each other. We were in a world that we were around each other, but not a lot. I saw maybe 3 or 4 times before in over a 4 or 5 year period of time. And then one night, I was having a meeting at my studio I live in Harlem, and I was on, oh honey, yes, please. This is serious blackness here, darling. I get a nosebleed. It's only Rolonda that brought me below 110th Street, people.
So anyway,
one night I had left a book of poetry at the theater, the Victoria 5 Theater where I work, and I heard this voice from the corner. I'd gotten the book and I was waiting on a taxi because I was running late for a meeting, and I heard this voice from the shadows say, "Sister, sister," and I didn't see a face. He said, "When you let me come in the light, you'll know who I am."
What?
And sure enough, when he stepped into the light, I said, "Oh, Brother Omar, how are you? But look, brother, I'm running late. Can you come and go with me?" Because, you know, I didn't want to just cut him off because I didn't know what he wanted to say. And so he got in the taxi and he called to someone, "Brother, I'll see you later." And he came with me to my meeting, and he sat through the meeting and listened. And after the meeting, I was talking about a program that I'm developing to train youth at risk and ex-offenders in the technical aspects of film and television production. So it's just something that's coming through me. The creator gave it to me. It isn't my idea. But, and so I'm sitting there saying, you know, you too, I'm telling children that you too can make $150,000 as a technical director. And so after the meeting was over, this very humble brother looked at me and said, "Me too, sister?" And I was like, "Yes." Well, we started working together because I needed someone to do just a number of things around the office, production assistant work. And then I started working with him to help me with some of my dates, booking engagements and things like that. I needed security. And he was just so amenable to everything. And he paid attention. He was patient. But most importantly, he was a strong black man who was not afraid of all of the history that we are imbued with, good, bad, or indifferent. He wasn't afraid that there were economic differences between us. He wasn't lewd. He was respectful and humble.
These two ladies wrote the book on it. You're holding it in your lap. I want you to meet these women. You might say they had their MRSs. They are Mrs. Cassandra Marshall Cato Lewis and Mrs. Monique Gillerette de Jong. And you wrote a book on how to marry a black man.
The real deal.
The real deal.
The real
What
deal.
is the real deal?
Well, the real deal, first of all, is we love black men.
Can everybody say that?
We love black men.
Okay? And I'll admit it, I was desperate. Okay, I'm not saying that anybody here is desperate. I'm saying, speaking for myself, that I was desperate. I had given up. Phyllis is my friend from a long time. She knows I had given up. I said, there are no good black men in New York. I took stock in my life and I started looking at myself. And I started working on myself. And I said, there's got to be a reason why I keep ending up in the same place with my heart broke over and over and over again. What am I, instead of saying the brothers have a problem and they can't handle me because I'm working in television, I said, what am I doing wrong? And the answer is in this book. We say to get yourself together spiritually, physically, mentally, culturally.
That's like they say, why do I keep going out with the same guy? And the answer is because you're the same woman.
But, but spiritually, you have to believe that if you center and cleanse yourself spiritually, you will start attracting different kinds of people that won't hurt you, that won't walk all over you, that won't be intimidated by you.
And some more advice as soon as we come back. We'll get it from you when we come back. Tips on how to marry that man. To introduce you first of all to a few good black men who are the husbands of folks here, right?
Yes.
Yvonne, this is your husband Omar. Please stand up so we can see who you are. What a wonderful story. What a wonderful story. And of the married women on our panel, this is Robert Lewis. Come on, stand up and take your applause too. What are you thinking about what we said today?
Well, first, I think it's very enlightening to see so many beautiful black women in here to share their thoughts with us.
I'm just so glad that everything that my wife did, I think everyone can enjoy it. I love being married to her, and these women deserve just as much.
Oh, thank you. Oh, thanks.
Tips on how to marry that man.
Wish you well Christmas card.
This program works so well. By the way, that was Monique's husband, Robert DeYoung. It works so well that Whitney Houston is optioning the project for a film.
Oh, really?
Okay.
That's great.
Through Disney. And the first and best tip is smile and say hello to every black man you see.
I do.
Okay? Secondly, forget about your type. You don't have a type from now on. And your type is a black man. Okay? And third is to forget about the dinner and movie date because our brothers want to get paid when they, go out. Social functions, walk on the river, have him take you somewhere that you're going to meet other black men because he may not be the right one, but he might have a cousin or uncle.
Ron, what do you say? Some more tips.
Oh, I'd like to say to the men, I mean, there's so much, when I look at the bookstore shelves, including my book, How to Love a Black Man, so much of it is written to women, but what about the brothers and what women need from us? So I'm working on How to Love a Black Woman now. Tip number one for the brothers is be in it for the long haul. Our women want to see somebody who's going to stick around. They're scared and they're hurt, and they want to see us bring the power of staying.
Yeah.
Number two, father boys like that, so that my daughters get to see a man like that in their generation.
Yes, yes. Let me show you. this shirt all the way from Boston, and girlfriends, look at this. It says, you wear it, and it says, single black female, attracted, gifted, and independent, seeking a mature, honest, supportive, what is this? God-fearing, financially stable, physically and mentally fit black man. Then when you turn around and walk away, it says, if you are a non-supportive, no good, lying, jealous, nagging, broke, unemployed, uneducated, jive, two-time, and two-minute brother, please don't call. Sometimes we laugh to keep from crying. Phyllis is going to give us a taste of humor in her indelible way right after this. Right after this. Before we say goodbye, Phyllis Stickney with some humor.
Where are you? Before, brothers, let me just give you a few little pointers if you want to find that serious sister. Don't go yo, 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 hey, baby, hey, baby, hey, baby. Don't do that. Don't do that, okay? If you're trying to make a gesture or something, try not to pound it in the crotch area, okay? We're concerned about hygiene when you do that, okay? There's just a few things. You can't kind of talk to the lady when you're trying to talk to the 4 other girls at the same time. You know, try not to be so obvious with the 14 numbers hanging out of your pocket. And if you're married, don't you dare! Don't you dare! Go there. Anywhere, anytime, any place. And girls, if you really want a serious man, put your clothes on.
On that note, goodbye, everybody. Thanks for being with us. We'll see you next time.